Hello and welcome to Sex RX. I'm Dr. Manny. Loss of appetite, weakness, nausea, and hair loss are just the tip of the iceberg. The side effects of breast cancer treatment can be awful. But my guests today say that there are some surprising ways that breast cancer actually improved their sex lives. Joining me now is sex therapist and breast cancer survivor, Dr. Laura Berman, and Christine Egan, who is also a survivor and author of The Healthy Girl's Guide to Breast Cancer. Welcome both to the program.
Thank you.
I would think many cancer patients would shy away from the whole idea of having sex.
Well, yes. First of all, certainly when you're going through treatment, a lot of the treatments to deal with breast cancer and to get to a point of recovery take a humongous toll on your health, on your energy, on your hormones, and some of those consequences can be long-lasting. But it is also really, I think, for many women, especially now that there's such a huge community of women that are going through this, it's really an opportunity to reevaluate your life, redetermine what's really important to you, reclaim life sometimes, and part of having and really recognizing how valuable and wonderful life is and your relationships, and with that comes a desire to have that sexual connection.
Christine, in your book, you talk about the experience of, rekindling the fire of sex. But one of the things that you kind of mention is that sex got a little bit better. How is that? How is that? Walk me through that.
Well, it's exactly what Dr. Laura was just talking about. Things become important and everything else falls by the wayside.
Okay.
So cancer really was this opportunity for me to really appreciate my body for what it did for me all these years, instead of being really angry and hurt that my breasts had let me down.
Right.
And it was an opportunity for me to really be in my body and really enjoy who and what I was, and who better to share that with than my husband.
So it's like when I went through this experience, I survived it. Now I'm going to enjoy life. And one of the things in my bucket list is I'm going to have more sex, and it's going to be wild and crazy.
Yeah,
is that the attitude?
Yes, and I think a lot of the things that hold women back, the inhibitions, the self-judgments, the stress, the anxiety, the distractions, because for all of us, our main sexual organ is between our ears, but especially for women. And I think going through something like that, for many women, they realize that it's really not worth sweating the small stuff. No. And so a lot of those distractions that the average woman might have that take her away from being present sexually or being wanting to have sex kind of goes away. The barriers are gone.
Okay. So what about the men? Because I tell you, from my own personal experience, I see this, let's say in obstetrics, pregnant women. I either get men, the question always is from the woman, can I have sex during my pregnancy? I said, yeah, that you don't have any contraindication. Some men react very positively to that. Some men are completely turned off. They will not come near their wives once the belly is popping out or anything like that. So I would imagine that in breast cancer, you have both types of scenario where you have men that say, okay, are you up for it? I'm up for it. But other men are sort of afraid, perhaps internally. So how do you deal with men? Let's start with you.
Well, I think that's a perfect analogy that you made, because it's probably the same men who are uncomfortable with the pregnant wife or are uncomfortable with the breast cancer wife. But, it also changes the dynamic of your relationship, because this is a life-threatening, very taxing, stressful thing you're going through. And some men will rise to the occasion. Some men really struggle with having to be in the caretaker role. So there's that emotional piece, the dynamics in the relationship sometimes change. And then there's the anxiety about the changes in her body. But the cool thing is, not that every woman needs to have reconstruction, but thanks to modern plastic surgery, what they can do now with the reconstruction is really miraculous.
Right. So, Christine, let's say I'm having difficulty accepting your mindset. How would you transform yourself, or what would you tell me as, let's say, your fake husband here, that I would find you, that I would feel some sexual innuendos and things that I feel that, my God, she's really ready for this.
Well,
what did you do to bring the sexy back?
Like Dr. Laura was saying about accepting your body. And so I have scars on my body. I have a scar here. I have a scar here. It's accepting those scars for me, and then my husband accepting those scars and reminding me that those scars are there for a reason. They took me from point A to point B. They're the reason that I'm alive today. These are all good things. So instead of shying away from my scars, embrace my scars, embrace my body. And having this this connection with cancer has caused my husband and I to have this much deeper connection, emotionally and physically.
How do you keep your positive attitude? Because I'm sure that there are days or that when you were going through the whole process of breast cancer that you were afraid.
Because pleasure is great. Mm-hmm. And once you have pleasure in your life and you realize the things that are important, you want to have it more often. You want to bring pleasure into your life. You want to create good things in your life. You want to have happiness. You want to have fun. And when you're threatened with this disease, it rearranges your priorities.
Okay. If a guy in a relationship like this doesn't wake up and smell the coffee here, can it permanently damage the relationship?
Absolutely. And I see a lot of couples in my office who are going through different versions of this. And it often is a period of readjustment, of redefining the relationship. But what I've learned in the almost 30 years I've been working with couples is that, yes, it takes two to tango. But if one of you, it's like she was saying, if one of you, if you as the woman are embracing your own body, feeling confident and sexy and in yourself.
But if the guy doesn't get it.
But what I find is if he doesn't get it, then sometimes a little bit of reparative therapy work. But what I have found in all the years I've been doing it is when she makes this major shift, he can't help but come along. There's nothing sexier than a confident woman.
Right.
And so even if he felt some trepidation, when she's like totally in it and feeling sexy and seducing him, he may have felt some trepidation at first and some anxiety at first, but over time will come around to that. Unless he's got major hang-ups, and then he's got to deal with it.
Then he has to deal with you.
He's got to deal with me.
All right, listen, ladies, thank you so much for coming to the program. Again, the book, and I'll mention it again, is
The Healthy Girl's Guide to Breast Cancer.
There you go, and you can find it everywhere. And it's important for women that we have so many thousand women that have survived breast cancer. And guys, if you don't get your act together, Laura is going to get you. All right. Well, thank you so much. And if you have any health questions, email them here at Fox at drmanny@foxnews.com. Until next time, I'm Dr. Manny.